As many of you have seen by now,
Nothing to chance in the eighth. As the 3-1 is lined and a left center field, the D-backs are going to take the lead.
and where are the Diamondbacks headed?
The Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the World Series.
Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., the two guys we traded last December, have helped the Diamondbacks to reach the World Series. And the guy we got in return, well, it doesn't help that he was our final out of the season in an at-bat where he looked like he had absolutely no chance. The Varsho trade completely changed the trajectory of the 2023 Blue Jays and franchise as a whole. So let's compare exactly how much production was lost in just year one of the blockbuster. When the deal was announced on December 23rd, 2022, it was like an early Christmas present for Jays fans. Because on paper, you get a potential 5-WAR player, lefty bat, and just overall a guy who has a different dynamic to anyone the Jays have had in recent years. That being said, the main piece going the other way was one of the highest rated prospects in all of baseball. Now, you have to pay up to get talent in this game. However, at the time of this deal, I too was overthinking we probably could have got more for Moreno. And then you have to add in Lourdes Gurriel Jr., an outfielder the Jays could have definitely used in 2023. Not only for his offense, but then we wouldn't have had to play Whit Merrifield in left field for more than 50% of the games. Especially since second base was the worst position on the team until you know who was called up. When trying to figure out exactly how much a player is worth, there are two main metrics you can use. B-WAR from Baseball Reference and F-WAR from Fangraphs. Both look to accomplish the same thing but have drastically different numbers. For example, the Jays gave up a total of 7.3 B-WAR, 4.3 to Moreno and 3 to Lourdes, while getting just 3.9 in return. Over to Fangraphs, the Jays got 2.1 while giving up 3.8, 2.1 to Lourdes and 1.7 to Moreno. In both metrics, the value the Jays received was about 55% of what was given. This accounts for Lourdes, who is a free agent after this season, so taking him out, it does look a little bit more even. But this was made as a win-now move, except they lost out on so much production this past season. Offensive production that I'm not saying would have won them the World Series, but definitely would have scored more runs throughout the season. Because in 2023, Varsho took a huge step back from practically all of his 2022 offensive numbers. Homers down from 27 to 20, average from 235 to 220, and OPS from 745 to 674. For reference, the average OPS this year was 730, so pretty below average. And the guys headed to Arizona had very solid years. For the first time ever, Lourdes featured in the All-Star game. It was mainly fueled by one of his hot streaks, and then in the second half went rather cold. Classic Lourdes. But overall, he had 24 homers, 82 RBIs, and had a respectable 772 OPS in the more pitcher-friendly NL West. Can't really ask for anything else from him. Now onto Moreno. His 2023 season was just his first in which he received everyday reps at the catching position, and he did what everyone expected. Hit for a decent average of 284, but lacked power with just 7 homers in 111 games and barely above a 400 slugging. But he has tapped into his power potential in the playoffs. In his 13 games so far, he has 3 homers, 9 RBIs, a slugging of 458, and an OPS of 766. Those numbers are solid, and he is doing this on the biggest stage in the world against guys like Clayton Kershaw, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and Corbin Burns, some of the best pitchers in today's game at just 23 years old. Extremely young for a player to perform this well in the playoffs. We need to move on from that because talking those numbers was just pretty sad. So let's talk about Varsho's biggest attribute, his defense. It's something we were blessed to witness all season long and is one of the biggest selling points on why he is a positive addition to any team in baseball. He has without a doubt many gold gloves in his future and maybe even a platinum. We'll just have to wait and see. It just stinks because Gabriel Moreno has blossomed into one of the best defensive catchers in baseball. You see that CS above average stat? That means the number of extra people caught stealing compared to the expectation of an average catcher. He ranked in the 100th percentile, meaning there was nobody better than him and he only played in 111 games. This trade has already been dubbed the worst in Jays history. And while it does have the chance to be a pretty poor one, especially if the D-backs win the World Series, it can't be trading Michael Young, future 7-time All-Star, Gold Glove winner, and one of the best infielders from 2004 to 2011, for Esteban Loaiza, a guy who had an almost 5 ERA in his time with the Jays before they let him loose, only to go to the White Sox and become an All-Star in his next 2 seasons. That definitely takes the cake. And as for this deal, well, I'll just let our wise, powerful, and still here leader say what he thinks.
Over the season, I still feel like that was a good trade, and you can't evaluate a trade, in the short term. You've got to give it 4 or 5 years to understand.
That wraps it up for today's video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Both actions help me out a lot, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.